Howdy, my name's Eric Fish. I'm the Writing Learning Support Coordinator for Northeast State Community College. Doing this video mainly for some new hires that may be wondering what they've gotten themselves into when they were assigned a learning support course, and I kind of want to explain how we do that. Basically, what learning support is what we used to call basic or developmental writing, but we changed our model, and of course, got to change the name with it. But previously, probably prior to 2016 or so, when students tested into developmental writing, they were placed into one of two categories based on their ACT, or what we now call the IQ Placer. They get into the 0700 level, which would have been basic writing, or the 0800 level, which would have been developmental writing. But if you got put into the 0700 level, you'd have to go through that course for a semester, pass it, then go on to the 0800 course for a semester, pass that, then finally you get into Comp 1. And what the Co-Requisite model does now is when students test into it for remediation, they're placed into a learning support course and the Comp 1 course at the same time, the college level writing course. And they get remediated as they're doing the Comp 1 course. Challenging model. It saves the state a whole lot of money, so we're not going to go back to the old model anytime, at all, ever. But if you want to learn about it, you can go to TBR policy 2.03.00.02 and get you some reading in there. And it goes through kind of the history and the procedures and everything we have to do and all that. But this was mandated by TBR. We kind of get to choose how we do it. How the learning support, the co-rec courses work. But of course, this is an unfunded mandate, so we're kind of limited by how much money we have and how what kind of the number of people we can hire in and things like that. So, but if you ever you can't go to sleep one night, excellent policy to read through there at the TBR website. And what you're going to find with our model, if I can make that. I don't like Office 365, but anyway. Eventually, if you get assigned an 0870 section, you're going to be matched up with a Comp 1 instructor, and the same students are going to be in each course. So here in Colin Cox's 1010 B31 section, all those students are probably going to be in the 0870 B31 section as well. And what that 0870 course does, that's the co-requisite course that's supporting that Comp 1 course. They're going to try to help those students succeed in the Comp 1 course, but without competing with the Comp 1 course assignments. And basically, one of the major actions within that 0870 course is reviewing the drafts of the Comp 1 course. When they get a draft ready for Colin Cox, he's going to ask you to review them. And you're going to do that and try to help them out and help them succeed in Comp 1 without being a copy editor. It's a neat little trick there. And generally, you don't want to copy edit the essays. You want to look at certain things. Like for the first ones, it might be comma splices, run together sentences, fragments, those kind of basic sentence structure errors, and only look for those. And maybe let Colin worry about development. You got to kind of talk to the Comp 1 teacher and see what it is y'all want to do. And if you look at the co-requisite syllabus, I'm not going to read this whole thing. You can read faster than I can talk. But if you look at the evaluation methods under here, 50% of the course grades had instructor review of the Comp 1 essays. Again, you're going to have to talk to that Comp 1 instructor. See kind of what they're looking for you to do, but that's kind of the meat of the course. And you'll see in the syllabus that students are required to send their draft to you before they submit the final copy to the Comp 1 instructor. That's very important. That's kind of where a lot of the authority you have in the course comes from. It's important for the Comp 1 instructors to understand that as well. Then you have 30% other exercises, responses. And again, you kind of want to coordinate with the Comp 1 instructor. You don't want to both be doing the same MLA exercises or something like that. But generally, Comp 1, they shouldn't be doing sentence structure or grammar exercises or something like that, things they might actually need, that's what you should be doing in the 0870 class to support that Comp 1 class. You can assign writings or journals or things like that, but make sure you're not competing with the Comp 1 assignments. We've had some 0870 instructors in the past, assign their own essays, and that's kind of interfering with the work they're doing in the Comp 1. All of a sudden, their students are getting confused about what they're supposed to be doing. And you will have you're going to have the same students in both classes. So you also don't want them playing you against each other. Good communication is kind of the key for this model. And 20% of the grade is going to be grammar exercises from the textbook. We just have a hard copy grammar review book, and how you use that's kind of up to you. But you can kind of see with the course content, you're supporting the first essay, second essay, third essay, fourth essay. Generally, we don't do 5 essays in the co-rec model, but there's just not enough time to do that. Excuse me. It takes time for the students to get their drafts done, send them to you, you review them, you don't revise them. Get them back to the students, and they have to revise it, then get it to the Comp 1 instructor. It takes a little bit of time to get that going. And you want to make sure, 5 essays, it's kind of putting a crunch on everything there. Where was I going there? But you can kind of see, eventually I'll send a list like this out to everybody so everybody knows who they're partnered up with. But it can be a very challenging model, particularly if the instructors aren't communicating with each other. One problem the 0870 instructor has is you got to wait for that Comp 1 instructor to get their syllabus done and the class schedule done so you can see how you're going to schedule your reviews and all that. And you can see quite often the 0870 instructors are doing more than one course, so we got to kind of and there might be working with different Comp 1 instructors. So we got to kind of make sure we're not dumping 70 essays all at once on the poor 0870 instructor and expecting next day service. So it takes some coordination, communication, saying, hey, I might need an extra day or two here. Then once you get it all set, it snows or something, right? So constant communication, a little flexibility, it's just the important part of all this. And when you see the list, there's different iterations of this model. Here, Lisa Spears is teaching a course that's only 0870. That's for certificate-seeking students. But anybody else is pretty much required to take Comp 1, and they're going to be putting that, if they test at a certain level, they're going to be putting that co-requisite model. And it can be challenging. Basically, anything from an 18 down to a 0 on the ACT ends up in that 0870 course. And sometimes the same instructor will be teaching both ones. Like I did it last semester, so did Caitlin and Ann. Sometimes that can work better. Sometimes you get a little burnout, but we're trying different ways to do it within the model we've created here. But it is a challenge having the same students in both classes. Not all colleges do that. We just found that to be the way we wanted to go with. But hopefully that kind of helps explain a few things. And like I said, I'm going to say it over and over and over. Being in communication with your partner and the co-requisite model is just the key for success here. Because there's all kinds of challenges that are going to pop up, and you want to be able to talk to the other person and work through those. Maybe one other final note, for learning support courses, students cannot receive a D for those. You can do that on individual assignments, but at the end of the semester, it's A, B, C, or F for the course. All righty. Wanted to kind of try to keep this under 10 minutes. But if you do have any questions about the model or what's going to happen, in the course, again, a lot of it, you got to talk to that other instructor and figure out what y'all are going to do. But if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.